Isn't she adorable? I love her so much. But, is Klee still good? When Klee was released during version 1.0, people had different opinions on her. In the end, people can agree to one thing. And it is that they can never really agree on what to think of Klee. Klee is still pretty cute though. Klee is a pyro catalyst user. If you've played her story quest before, then you've already had the first-hand experience as to what it feels like to use a bomb-throwing loli. In a previous video, I compared Klee to Youre and well, I concluded Youre was a better DPS. But for now, let's try to put all eyes on Klee without comparing her. Basically, this video is for anyone who would want to pull for Klee in the future. As someone who has been using her for months, let me tell you what you're pulling for. Klee is a DPS. Period. I've seen people run Klee with the thrilling tails and putting her as support along with Bennett for that pyro resonance bonus. That's actually viable for AC2 Klee. However, free-to-play players or light spenders will probably only have AC0 Klee. At C0, Klee can and should only be used as a DPS. Putting AC0 Klee on the team as a support, even with the thrilling tails and another pyro character to give pyro resonance, you won't be capitalizing on Klee's big numbers. A sub-DPS Klee would work, but it would still underperform compared to a Klee that's built to be a main DPS and constantly on the field. For equipment, Klee doesn't get a lot of choices. In terms of weapons for light spenders, I recommend getting the Solar Pearl from the Battle Pass. This weapon was clearly made for her. For free-to-play, I suggest using the Widsith or Eye of Perception. And if you don't have those, then go for the Frostbearer or Mappa Mare. Of course, any 5-star catalyst you might have will be better than any of the previously mentioned. Klee should run on the Crimson Witch artifact set. With her constantly being on the field and causing elemental reactions, this artifact set will benefit her the most, and these artifacts should be focused on crit rate. Let me tell you why in a while. For the mechanics, this is where it gets confusing. You see, there's this thing called animation cancelling. Perhaps you've seen other videos or guides talking about Machine Gun Klee. I won't go into depth about that here, but Machine Gun Klee is basically what you need to do to achieve maximum damage with Klee. And just so you know, it's not easy. But, just because you won't be able to use animation cancelling, does not mean your Klee won't hit hard. Klee still hits hard. And she shines the most with the Melt or Vaporize team. When using Klee, make sure to keep an eye out for the explosive spark that forms over her head. Whenever your normal attack or elemental skill will deal damage, you have a 50% chance to generate this explosive spark. This is an indication that your next charged attack will not consume any stamina and will deal 50% more damage. This is Klee's firepower, and that is why you should always be firing charged attacks with her. Using these charged attacks without consuming stamina really comes in handy. Klee's arm can't throw any farther than this, which is why you'll be facing the enemy at almost point blank range, and without shields, you'll need to be dodging almost every time. Scoring a crit hit with your charged attack will generate 2 energy for everyone in the party. This is why you should build Klee with a lot of crit rate. She will be able to help party members generate more energy to keep the consistent barrage of elemental damages and reactions. For her teams, I really recommend characters who function off-field and apply an elemental status on the enemy. Mona, Diona, Sinchu, and Fischl are very good choices. Having Bennett on the party can never go wrong also. If you have Albedo, you might also want to try this team composition. As the other 5 stars rolled in, Klee was really outshined when it came to damage numbers. AC0 Hu Tao is on a different league compared to AC0 Klee. But, with Klee being a pyro character, she has access to the strongest elemental reactions in-game. With this, Klee is able to maintain her position as a main DPS for my alternate team. But if I'm not trying to flex my loli collection to my friends, I rarely use Klee in the overworld or domains anymore. To end this video, let me tell you that you should go and get the characters you want. But if you're a slave to the meta, then Klee should be a pass for you if you already have another pyro powerhouse in the form of Hu Tao. If you're struggling in Spiral Abyss because you only have one good team, then getting a Klee to be the main DPS in another team might not be such a bad option. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. Please leave us a like.